You won't believe this, but my HOA tried to take over my private pool like it was public property. No discussion, no consent, just a woman with a superiority complex and a clipboard, acting like my backyard was her personal playground. It all went down on a peaceful morning. I was cleaning the pool, something my little sister, Mia, loves to watch. She's got sensory issues, and the water's gentle ripples are like therapy for her. That pool's not just for swimming. It's her safe space. Then came the telltale sound of heels clicking on pavement. Enter Karen, the Iron Lady of the Pine Grove HOA, armed with a smug smile and a clipboard she wielded like a royal decree. She didn't bother with pleasantries or even a knock. She just waltzed through my gate. "Great news, Lucas," she announced, like I'd won the lottery. "Your pool's been chosen for our elite summer bash next weekend." I stared, dumbfounded. "My pool? Chosen? Oh, don't stress," she added, already typing on her phone. "The HOA's got it covered. We've got caterers, influencers, the works." I gestured to the private property. No entry sign on my fence. Mia had painted little daisies on it to soften the vibe. Karen barely glanced at it, like it was a minor inconvenience. "Cute," she sneered. "But HOA events supersede all that." She thrust her clipboard at me, pointing to some nonsense rule she'd clearly made up. Section B, Clause 5. The HOA reserves the right to utilize key community assets for collective benefit. Kept my cool. "Karen, this is my private property. I own this land, this pool, everything. You don't get to utilize it because you want a party." Her smile vanished. "Don't make this hard, Lucas. This is happening or there'll be penalties." I didn't yell. I just pointed to the gate. "Get off my property." She huffed, spun around, and left, but I knew she wasn't done. Karen's been a nightmare since she took over the HOA. Before her, it was just about keeping lawns tidy and organizing the occasional barbecue. But Karen? She's on a power trip. She once fined a neighbor for a non-compliant birdhouse, too colorful apparently. Another time, she told Mrs. Jenkins her rose bushes were too flamboyant for the neighborhood's aesthetic. My first clash with her was over our mailbox. It was a perfectly fine black one, but she insisted it had to be eggshell white, Pantone 11-0103. I repainted it just to avoid her harassment, but she still came by to inspect it like she was the queen. A letter was slapped on our door. Not mailed, taped like a public shaming. Mia found it and was a nervous wreck, thinking we'd lose the pool. It was a 3-page official notice declaring our pool reserved for the HOA's Summer Splash Spectacular, complete with a guest list, catering details, and, get this, a note that attendees could use our bathroom. That was the last straw. I called the HOA's regional office, but the guy on the phone, Greg, sounded like he'd rather be napping. "The local board has authority," he droned. "File a complaint at the next meeting." That meeting was a month away. The party? 6 days. So I decided to take matters into my own hands. That I dug out the heavy-duty pump I'd bought for flood season and got to work. If Karen wanted a pool party, she'd have to find another venue, because mine was about to be out of service for emergency maintenance. I typed up a polite notice. "Pool closed for critical repairs. No access until further notice." I handed it to Karen's sidekick, Linda, who patrols the neighborhood with her yappy terrier like she's on a mission. "Just some routine HOA business," I said, forcing a grin. She muttered something and walked off. Then I fired up the pump. The water started draining, and the sound was music to my ears. Karen's glossy posters were everywhere, advertising Pine Grove's exclusive aqua extravaganza, with a photoshopped image of my pool looking like a 5-star resort. Worse, I learned from my neighbor, Tom, that she was selling VIP passes for the event, complete with premium catering and exclusive pool access. She was profiting off my property without my consent. That's not just entitled, it's borderline illegal. I kept draining the pool and it was bone dry. I scrubbed the deck, put up a bigger pool closed sign, and added private property. For good measure, it was bright and hot. Perfect party weather. Fancy cars started pulling up, people in designer swimsuits and sunglasses, ready for their exclusive bash. Then they saw the empty pool. Karen arrived in a flowy sundress, clipboard in hand, ready to play hostess, until she spotted the dry concrete and my sign. She marched over, face like a tomato. "This is sabotage. You've ruined an HOA-sanctioned event. I'm calling the cops." And she did. She dialed 911, claiming I'd vandalized community property. 2 officers showed up, looking more annoyed than anything. Karen practically threw herself at them, waving her clipboard. I handed over my property deed, the HOA bylaws, and a calm explanation. Officer Thompson, a no-nonsense woman, skimmed the documents. "Ma'am," she said to Karen, "this pool is on private land. Your mandate doesn't override a deed. And calling 911 for this? That's not what it's for." A guest, some lawyer type, piped up, "Wait, you sold us tickets to a party you didn't have permission for?" The crowd turned on Karen, demanding refunds. She went silent, her authority crumbling. Karen's resignation was on the HOA website, and Linda followed suit. A new board took over, normal people who just want quiet streets and the occasional block party. Mia's back to sketching by the pool, even drawing a hilarious cartoon of Karen flailing in an empty pool with her clipboard sinking. We hung it in the living room. So what's the line when someone tries to steamroll your home, your family, your peace? For me, it was a drained pool and a point made. What do you think? Did I go too far? Or was this the only way to stop her? Ever had an HOA or neighbor pull something like this? Share your stories below. I'm reading them all. And if you're ever backed into a corner, just know a pump and some resolve can make a big splash.